What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Vault Hunters, and we have a lot planned for this episode. So, we can take a little bit of a cruise over here, and I can show you guys an area that I've gotten prepped. So we finally got enough knowledge stars to unlock Botania, and I thought with a mod so cool, it needed a building equally as cool. As you can see, I've kind of got this area prepped a little bit. I've got it flattened out. I've got all my building materials lined up here. And we're going to get this episode cranked off with a good time lapse of me knocking the structure out. It'll be my first attempt at making a time lapse, and I'm going to have to use like a second account and free cam and that kind of stuff to get it done because to my knowledge there's not a version of the replay mod that works with Vault Hunters, so hopefully it turns out alright. But I'm going to get cranking on this, and I will see you guys after it's done, and we'll kind of walk through and talk about some of the design decisions I made on it. Outside of that, we do have a little bit more going on this episode too. We have a prismarine farm that we still need to knock out, and maybe some changes around the base there. A little bit later in the episode, I will also touch on the fact that I am level 75 now and kind of talk about the update that came to Vault Hunters pretty recently. And before you click off, no, I didn't crank it to times 10 or do anything crazy. We're only on times 3, but I kind of want to make some good progress in this pack and get this world nice and flushed out and the vault level and stuff feeling good before the next major Vault Hunters release comes out in October, or more realistically probably around New Year's time. So I'd like to see this map all the way to endgame. And to do that, updating to 1.13.8 and kind of changing some of the XP multipliers seemed to be something that was in our best interest for the longevity of the map and to kind of fast track us just a little bit. So without further ado, time to get into this time lapse. I'll see you guys after I'm done.
Well, everyone, I have a little bit of unfortunate news. This episode's probably going to be a little bit late, and that is because I have been having a heck of a time with the replay mod for 1.16 on Forge. Specifically in Vault Hunters, it just will not work for me. I did a full recording of the building that is in front of me right now, and I cannot for the life of me to get it to actually render. So if anybody knows anything about getting replay mod working with Vault Hunters, feel free to let me know in the comments if you know any tips or tricks to get that functioning properly, because I would really like to render that out. I could still do it as a short or something if I can manage, because the replay footage is there, it just won't render for whatever reason. Without further ado though, let me just spin around slowly here, and we can go back into first person, and I'll take us into free cam, and we can check out the wizard tower. So I am very, very happy with the way that this build ended up turning out. This is going to be where we house all of our Botania kind of magic stuff is going to go in here. And we'll actually run around on the inside and take a look in a moment. I'm just kind of giving it a nice little fly around. I actually designed this in creative mode. I believe there's like a Dungeons and Dragons type tabletop ornament that you can get. I'll probably put a picture of that on screen. And I kind of use that as a little bit of a reference. Although a lot of this up here, I took quite a few liberties with that kind of making my own, so to speak. It's not easy to take something with a lot of real life detail and turn it into a block game form, but I think I got it looking pretty good. Really like the way these lights kind of go on a diagonal like that to look like a little rail. That's a pretty cool little feature of the mod pack there. So if we come back down to the front now, we can actually go right on inside and take a look at everything. So I do have quite a bit of texturing that I did in here with a lot of andesite and cobblestone and deep slate, and this I really like the look of this hardened stone as well. And I think it does a really good job of kind of breaking up this big stone base and kind of giving a little interest there. It loops around to a nice little garden on top. I haven't really put the flowers I want in here yet. This is actually going to be probably have a few of the like too tall Botania flowers and stuff around here, and probably theme the greenery around Botania too. And then of course the custom mushrooms right there. And you can go in that door right up there that we saw, or there's another little entrance tucked away right here using these frame doors, and that leads you right into the basement here. I still have a little tidying up to do with bringing the base of the tower all the way down and kind of figuring out how I'm going to handle this whole situation. But this is where we're going to take some time to figure out some of the Botania stuff and get a little mana area set up and kind of go through the basics with the apothecary and getting all the petals and stuff made. And all of that fun stuff will be right in here. I also went ahead and hooked this up to the main storage system back over at the house. If I go into free cam mode here, you can see that that is a really long cable. It runs all the way back over there. But it gets the job done for sure. And I went ahead and also kind of tidied this up and drug this down and into the hallway that connects up with everything else. So now we just have a really long kind of grand hall right here that runs between the main base and the vault room and kind of the power room and the potion room, and everything's nice and connected up down here. We're also slowly expanding our gifter or like permanent Omega statue hallway here with more and more of them over time. We've definitely been running quite a few vaults. We've got up into the 80s now. I believe Chad has caught up with me as well, so we're about the same level. Anyway, though, I'm going to start messing around over here and see if I can't get a little bit of the introduction stuff for Botania ready to kind of start showing you guys and setting up down here. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, as I was getting my floral fertilizer here ready, this is one of the, I also crafted the little book to try to help with progression here. But one of the first steps you're going to want to take in Botania is getting your floral fertilizer ready to go make some Botania flowers. I realized that I totally forgot to actually go up and check out the tower in the first clip, so why don't we go do that before we go plant some flowers? So if you take this first one, this is just kind of the intro floor right here. This is the door we would have came out of, or came into originally coming up the tower here. Just got a little bit of room on these floors. They're not anything too big. I'll probably do some like nice little witchy stuff in here. Might add some windows and stuff in the future. I'm not sure yet. And then this is kind of the next floor here. This is actually the waystone that takes you here. There's the bee and the main house right over that way. And then Jared's area is actually right over there. Really like the view from here. It's a nice little mushroom roof on this guy as well. Tie that into the mushrooms down there. And then you go up one more floor here, and there's actually a piece of polished basalt I need to finish off right there. But this is probably where my bedroom's going to go in this tower. And then, of course, there is the upstairs inside the hat up here for all your treasures and stuff like that. And then if you hop right down in here, oops, if you hop down up there, there's the top little pagoda slash walkway area. Let's see if I can hop up here. Yeah. And I'll probably end up putting more elevators that come up here. We did unlock the elevators mod as well. We still have, I think, 4 knowledge stars to play with that I haven't really used on anything yet. I'm still kind of waiting to see what I want to do with those. Haven't even really started messing with Botania yet. About to start growing those flowers. But that's what's taking me up and down in here. Just the elevators, and they're just masked with other blocks to kind of blend them in with the floors so they don't really stand out too much. But if we go right on out here, you can kind of see how the floral fertilizer works. We'll just take it over to an area, kind of clear out all the random grass and nonsense. Place a little bit of this, and that'll give us some of those. And then we just harvest those. And I'm basically going to sit here and do this for a while. So I believe the first thing we're going to want to do here is get some of these pure daisies so that we can get to some living wood and living stone. And to get those, we need to combine some of these white mystical petals that I've gathered with one of the perfect versions of one of the common vault gems there. So I guess I think we have some biniotite already made over there. Go ahead and grab that. And we'll also need the apothecary thing itself too, the little flower pedestal. So I'm going to craft up one of those bad boys right quick and plop it down around here somewhere. Done and dusted. We can plop it down right here. Put some water in there. And then we take the white petals with the perfect biniotite. And of course, if you're using something other than Vault Hunters, that'll be different, but... And to make the daisies that we needed, it is 4 of these and 1 of those. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 of those. And then to finalize it, we need to throw some seeds in there. And we'll throw some seeds, and there we go. We got our first pure daisy. We're going to do that a couple times here. And of course, there is a kind of faster way to do it. In the first 20 seconds after you've crafted something, you can right click it with an empty hand and it'll just make it again. And then all you have to do is right click and then throw your seeds in and it'll give you one. I'm going to go ahead and make, I guess, 4 of these bad boys for now. We'll take those and we can make some living stone and some living wood with it. So we can jot out this one here. And that one there. And then do this one here and that one there. That'll be a good spot for each one of these. And then you just surround it with what you want to turn. We'll do the stone on this one and the wood on this one. And those were the elevators, so that is a bit unfortunate. Redecorate that and then bring that around like so. I'm pretty sure the elevators will work even if you have a block above them like that. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's above your head. It would need to be somewhere in this distance. So we're going to sit here and wait for a minute and wait for these to change into living wood and living stone. Excellent. Well, now that that's done, I'm going to do that a handful more times. Let's see how many we get off of this, actually. I didn't even count how many we were putting down. 16, so I'll need to do that. I kind of want a stack of each, so I'm going to need to do it just a couple more times here. And I probably won't show this every single time, so I will go ahead and cut, and I will see you guys once I have a stack of each of these, and we can get crafting a little further into the mod pack here. Okay, so I've got my living rock and living wood all crafted up now. One thing I would like to point out as well when it comes to Vault Hunters is you're going to get quite a few, well I guess quite a few is kind of an overstatement. You will get an occasional overgrowth seed from running vaults, and when you do that, if you use it on a grass block, it will turn it into an enchanted soil, and that will make your flowers operate at twice efficiency. I don't know if it works for these ones, but it is supposed to work for the ones that generate mana, like what we're about to be making next. So in order to accumulate mana, we're going to need a mana pool, which we're just going to craft up real quick with our last biniotite right there. And now we've got that all ready to go. So I'm not really sure where we want this necessarily at the moment. I might just stick it right here. That seems fine for now. And next we're going to need probably a mana spreader would be the next logical thing to craft here. And now we've got a mana spreader. We'll probably also want to go ahead and craft a wand too. And this is how we're going to manage everything and get it all connected up properly. It's kind of like the wrench of the mod, if you will. And we'll go ahead and put this mana spreader just kind of, I guess, floating in the air right here. Something like that. We're actually going to need to get mana for this to absorb, which is going to require us to come over here and make some of these. I think the best starter one is probably going to be this Indo Flame, which is 2 brown petals, a red petal, and I believe that's a white petal. Light gray, excuse me. And we'll want to make sure and take our Indo Flame here and put it on some of this stuff to make it a little better. And then from here, I believe if we grab some coal or something like that, go ahead and grab a stack of blocks here. And come over here and throw a couple down. They should get consumed by those, yes. And then if I go here, I can bind this to that, this to that, and this to that. And we are good to go. Now we've got some mana spreading into its pool. And now we'll have to just kind of wait for a while, generate some mana this way. Eventually we're going to upgrade our stuff to kind of get better mana production here so that we can use this stuff to actually do some fun crafting and getting some little trinkets and things for the vault. And that's going to make vault running quite a bit easier once we get into some of these, I guess they're called baubles or what have you. These little guys over here. Some rings, some necklaces, sashes, stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to let this guy produce a little bit of mana here. Maybe get a little system set up. I believe there's something called a dropper crate, maybe? Or an open... Yeah, an open crate. And that is actually from Botania as well, and that's pretty easy to make. We can go through that really quick too, and make a little automated system to feed these guys. So we have that going right there. And when that triggers, it will give this redstone a bump here, which should indeed power that block. I would need a piece of glass, or actually, better yet, a half slab would be perfect. Grab a little half slab, throw that there, have that go in there. Maybe need a hopper. And now that right there is going to essentially just leave a couple of pieces of coal so that these can feed themselves as they need it. And whenever that right there despawns, it will unpower that and it'll drop out some more. And it kind of just maintains itself that way. Probably make a couple more of these guys, maybe make like 4 of them total, so that this fills up a little bit quicker. It is pretty sizable on how much mana it can store in one of these guys, so I'm going to continue, I guess, probably adding a couple more of these and letting this fill up a little more, and then we can come back and do some fun things with the mana, as far as making some better flowers or making some of the little odds and ends as far as the trinkets and things go. So we'll be back momentarily. Alright guys, well, we have this going now. We got this charging up. All 8 of these are going. We're probably going to need to add another mana spreader, but before we get into that, I was actually thinking about setting this mana pool up and making it linked to multiple, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to let you guys see what that's like. So we're going to have to turn a couple of our iron ingots into mana steel here, so that's actually pretty cheap to do on our total mana cost. We're going to come over here, we're going to grab our crafting ingredients out of here. And we do this little number, and that is going to give us a mana splitter. And we take that, and we're going to make 3 more mana pools here. Bring this over here. And from here, we can do this little number and connect all these up. And instead of that going into this one, I guess I don't actually need to. Yes, we linked this to this instead, and that will disperse to all 4. So now everybody has their own mana pool. Everybody can pool from their own, or we can just have it coming in a lot quicker once we have multiple things hooked up to this. So we can have different little machines, if you will, or magical apparatuses hooked up to each one of these and pool them individually. So if one of them runs out, it does not necessarily drain one of the other machines, and kind of have everything separated like that. And of course, this little clustered corner is kind of temporary while I'm figuring out the mod pack and kind of demonstrating how it works and everything. All of this will get shifted around within this wizard tower and kind of moved to better areas, because there are ways you can link these up to other mana pools around and have them shared. So I can actually have some different little uses for these kind of all around the wizard tower. But I'm going to probably start crafting up some more of this other thing that we're going to need, which is going to be this runic altar. And to make that, we're going to need a few other ingredients crafted up. So I'm going to get on that, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so we got a couple more of these, or another one of these mana spreaders hooked up here to this central splitter, and these are all filling up slowly but surely with mana. It's just going to be a little bit of a waiting game here while this all does its thing. In the meantime, I've been trying to figure out this runic altar business, because we're going to need to use this to essentially craft a bunch of these runes up so that we can get further into Botania. So to start with, we're going to probably be pursuing this Indropinium here that converts explosions into mana. That seems like a pretty good choice. And we're going to need just some basic petals, but we're also going to need 2 of these runes here. So Rune of Wrath is going to be quite a bit more involved, so we can probably just start with Rune of Fire first. So this is some more of your like basic ingredients here. We're going to need a little bit of nether wart, some gunpowder, nether brick, a perfect biniotite or larimar, a mana steel ingot, and some mana powder, which is just one of your powders, whether that is glowstone, redstone, sugar, any of that kind of stuff thrown into one of these guys here. So if we just take our redstone over here and boop, we get our mana powder into the inventory, and then we go over here and get our iron ingot, do that again, and we have that bad boy. Coming back over here, going through the checklist once more. So we'll need some gunpowder, which we do have. I don't know if we have any nether wart in this system. We'll probably have to go get it from over at the potion brewing area, but that won't be a problem. And then we have, interestingly enough, no nether brick in the system either, which is not too big of a deal, because this is actually an ideal time to show off what we obtained in one of the treasure rooms that we actually managed to find in the vaults. I believe it was our first treasure room after hitting level 75. We actually got a couple of the better furnaces from the iron furnace mod, which are considerably quicker than your basic furnace hooked up, even with the bellows behind here. They are really, really blowing through this netherrack here. It's a nice find in the treasure room, because I don't think we ever intended to actually invest in iron furnaces. So treasure rooms are great for that kind of thing, and getting all of the bonus materials there from mods that you normally would not be adventuring into via knowledge stars. And as I was saying earlier, we actually do have 4 knowledge stars here, or we actually have 6 knowledge stars, excuse me, saving up, and I'm not really 100% sure where we're going to spend those yet. Been kind of looking around in the mod list. I think we're actually probably going to go with Vault Looter, just because that's going to make life a lot easier when you're in the vault. won't be picking up all the junk and stuff. You can basically sort through it all one time or a little bit at a time as your junk kind of flows in, and then you are good to go there, and you won't have to mess with it anymore. So, because we've already spent quite a bit of Larimar and stuff. These are all 16K storage drives now, and as much as we could fill this whole thing with 16K, I'd rather not, because there's a lot of other things we're spending those common gems on. I think Chad brought me some nether wart there as well. Yes, he did. So, appreciate that, and we will come back over to the Botania area and get this stuff crafted down now. I'm pretty sure I've got everything I need for this now. Yes, I do. I gave it too many nether bricks. Give me my stuff back. Let's try that again. So we got nether brick, the powder, the wart, the gunpowder, and last but not least, we'll need a perfect common vault gem. Maybe if I connect you to that. And we'll just let that charge on up.